Lindsay Lohan was once a shining example of Hollywood's next big thing, a child star who appeared destined for lifelong stardom thanks to her incredible talent, magnetic screen presence, and girl-next-door charm. She first burst onto the scene in Disney's 1998 remake of The Parent Trap, instantly winning over audiences with her dual role as twins separated at birth. Her remarkable ability to switch seamlessly between two distinct personalities set her apart from other young actors and established her as a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood. Her trajectory continued to rise with starring roles in Freaky Friday and Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, but it was her 2004 performance in Mean Girls that cemented her as an international superstar. As Katie Heron, Lindsay effortlessly blended awkward innocence with comedic brilliance, making her relatable to teens and admired by critics. She seemed unstoppable, gracing magazine covers, attending premieres around the world, and becoming a red carpet staple. Industry insiders saw her as a bankable, versatile actress capable of transitioning from teen roles into serious adult projects. However, behind the scenes, Lindsay's life was beginning to spiral. The pressures of fame, combined with a toxic party scene and personal struggles, started to take their toll. By her late teens, Lindsay was frequently spotted at nightclubs with other young Hollywood stars, often making headlines for her late-night antics rather than her acting achievements. In 2006, she was hospitalized for exhaustion and dehydration, signaling the start of a very public downward spiral. Her erratic behavior on set began to cost her roles and alienate directors and producers. Stories emerged of her arriving hours late, disappearing for unexplained stretches, and clashing with co-stars and crew. As her reliability waned, so did the industry's patience and willingness to insure her for major roles, which is often a critical factor for casting in big-budget films. In 2007, Lindsay's problems escalated to criminal charges. She was arrested twice for driving under the influence, once crashing her car into a curb, and another time following a woman's car, while reportedly intoxicated. Police found cocaine in her possession during one arrest, further damaging her already fragile reputation. Following these incidents, Lindsay entered rehab several times, each stint marked by paparazzi swarmings and intense media coverage that turned her treatment into entertainment fodder. Instead of providing her space to heal, the relentless spotlight intensified her struggles. She violated probation repeatedly, resulting in jail time and court-ordered community service that became highly publicized events in their own right. Her iconic mugshots, released with each new arrest, became grim milestones documenting her fall from grace. Attempts at comebacks were often derailed by fresh controversies or erratic interviews that further eroded public and professional confidence. Her reality show, Lindsay, intended as a raw and redemptive look at her life, instead highlighted her ongoing instability and fueled even more tabloid speculation. As offers dried up, Lindsay began seeking refuge abroad, spending time in Europe and the Middle East, far from Hollywood's harsh gaze. She opened a beach club in Mykonos, an endeavor that briefly put her back in the headlines, but this time as a curiosity rather than a respected artist. In interviews, she expressed a desire to reinvent herself and escape the chaos that once defined her every move, yet the damage to her career seemed irreversible. While she has recently hinted at a possible return to acting, the industry and audience skepticism remain strong. Lindsay Lohan's story is a tragic testament to how quickly fame can become a curse, especially for young stars lacking solid support systems. Her overnight destruction was not caused by one scandal alone, but a devastating chain reaction of poor choices, addiction, legal troubles, and a voracious media culture that reveled in her collapse. The bright future many envisioned for her, where she might have joined the ranks of Oscar winners and serious dramatic talents, was lost to the whirlwind of self-destruction and public fascination with her downfall. Today, she stands as a cautionary tale for young performers entering the industry, a reminder that the same spotlight that propels you to stardom can just as quickly magnify your mistakes and accelerate your fall. Despite everything, some fans continue to root for Lindsay's redemption, holding on to hope that she might someday reclaim her potential. But whether she does or not, her career's sudden implosion remains one of the most dramatic in Hollywood history, an overnight crash that still echoes through the entertainment world. Few Hollywood stories are as shocking and abrupt as the downfall of Mel Gibson, whose career once shone as one of the brightest in the industry before crashing almost overnight in a blaze of scandal and controversy. For decades, Mel Gibson was a beloved figure, both as an actor and a director. He first won audiences over with his breakthrough role in Mad Max, where he portrayed the rugged and vengeful titular character, instantly becoming a global action star. His charm and undeniable talent propelled him even further with the Lethal Weapon series, where he played the unpredictable yet lovable detective Martin Riggs. By the 1990s, Gibson had solidified his status as an A-list actor and began to flex his creative muscles behind the camera. In 1995, he directed and starred in Braveheart, an epic historical drama that won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Gibson himself. He seemed unstoppable, admired not only for his on-screen charisma, but also for his artistic vision. However, everything began to unravel in the mid-2000s, culminating in one of the most infamous celebrity implosions of all time. In 2006, Gibson was arrested for drunk driving in Malibu. What might have been a routine scandal took a darker turn when Gibson launched into an anti-Semitic rant against the arresting officer, blaming Jews for all the wars in the world. The leaked details of this tirade spread rapidly, stunning fans and colleagues alike. Overnight, the public's perception of Gibson shifted from charismatic hero to disgraced bigot. Studios distanced themselves immediately, and he was labeled toxic throughout Hollywood. This was just the beginning of his rapid descent. In the following years, more disturbing details emerged about Gibson's private life. In 2010, recordings surfaced of a vicious phone call with his then-girlfriend Oksana Grigorieva, in which Gibson hurled racist and misogynistic slurs, further solidifying his image as an abusive and volatile figure. The combination of these incidents effectively exiled him from mainstream Hollywood. Gibson's fall was as public as it was catastrophic. Once welcomed at every red carpet and awards show, he found himself shunned by former allies and fans. His projects struggled to find funding or distribution, and he was largely absent from major studio films for nearly a decade. Attempts at damage control, including public apologies and interviews about his struggles with alcoholism and anger, were met with skepticism and often viewed as too little too late. Despite his claims of personal growth and rehabilitation, many in the industry found it impossible to look past his hateful outbursts and violent behavior. His reputation was not merely damaged, it was obliterated almost overnight. In later years, Gibson began a slow and controversial return to Hollywood. His 2016 film Hacksaw Ridge marked a major comeback, receiving critical acclaim and earning Oscar nominations, including Best Director for Gibson. While some praised his artistry and saw this as evidence of redemption, others criticized the industry for seemingly forgiving a man whose actions had been so harmful and hateful. The debate over his legacy continues to divide audiences and Hollywood insiders to this day. Gibson's story serves as a stark reminder that no amount of talent or past success can shield someone from the consequences of deeply offensive and destructive behavior. In an industry that often overlooks or excuses bad behavior, Gibson's downfall was swift and severe, showing that there are limits even in Hollywood's world of second chances. His overnight destruction wasn't a result of a single mistake, but a series of explosive revelations that revealed a side of him no one wanted to believe existed. Mel Gibson went from an adored superstar and Oscar-winning director to a Hollywood outcast almost in an instant, a transformation that still feels shocking even years later. His story stands as one of the clearest examples of how quickly a career can disintegrate when personal demons and hateful ideologies come to light, proving that fame is as fragile as it is intoxicating, and that the higher you rise, the harder and faster you can fall. Heigl. Kevin Spacey's fall from grace is one of the most shocking and abrupt implosions in modern Hollywood history, a textbook case of how quickly a celebrated career can be obliterated almost overnight. For decades, Kevin Spacey was a towering figure in the film and theater world, admired for his incredible range and magnetic screen presence. His breakout performance in The Usual Suspects earned him an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, and his chillingly charismatic role in American Beauty won him an Oscar for Best Actor. Spacey seemed unstoppable, hailed as one of the greatest actors of his generation. His talent was matched by his versatility, moving seamlessly from villainous characters to charming anti-heroes, and he was beloved by critics and audiences alike. Beyond film, his leadership at the Old Vic Theatre in London was seen as a revitalizing force for the institution. His career reached new heights with his role as Frank Underwood in Netflix's groundbreaking series House of Cards, where he delivered a mesmerizing performance that defined the golden age of streaming television. Yet, in late 2017, Spacey's world crumbled in an instant when actor Anthony Rapp publicly accused him of making unwanted sexual advances toward him when Rapp was just 14 years old. The accusation, published during the height of the #MeToo movement, opened the floodgates for a cascade of further allegations. In the days and weeks that followed, numerous men came forward with their own stories of sexual harassment and assault, painting a chilling portrait of predatory behavior spanning decades. The backlash was immediate and ferocious. Netflix severed ties with Spacey almost instantly, halting production on House of Cards and rewriting the final season to remove his character entirely. Upcoming projects, including the film All the Money in the World, replaced Spacey's scenes with Christopher Plummer in a last-minute reshoot that cost millions but underscored Hollywood's swift rejection of the disgraced star. Film festivals pulled his movies, agencies dropped him, and awards organizations distanced themselves from his legacy. Spacey attempted to respond to the initial allegations with a public statement that shocked and angered both the industry and LGBTQ+ advocates. Instead of denying or clearly addressing the accusations, he came out as gay in what many saw as a manipulative deflection tactic, using his sexuality to distract from the serious nature of the claims. This move backfired spectacularly, leading to further condemnation and deepening the public's outrage. In an instant, Spacey transformed from an acclaimed icon to a pariah. His reputation, meticulously built over decades, disintegrated almost overnight, and his name became synonymous with abuse and betrayal. While he has occasionally posted bizarre videos in character as Frank Underwood, these attempts at maintaining relevance have only fueled the perception of him as delusional and out of touch with the gravity of his actions. Legal battles followed, with multiple cases and investigations, though not all resulted in charges. Nonetheless, the damage to his career and legacy was irreparable. Hollywood, once eager to shower him with awards and roles, now turned its back completely. Spacey's story is a chilling reminder of how quickly the tide can turn when the truth comes to light, especially when it involves abuse of power and violations of trust. His overnight destruction was not the result of a single mistake or a public meltdown, but rather the exposure of a long-hidden pattern of predatory behavior that had been tolerated or ignored for far too long. In the court of public opinion, Spacey's guilt was solidified almost immediately, and the industry moved with unprecedented speed to erase his presence from ongoing and future projects. His spectacular fall from grace stands as one of the clearest and most dramatic examples of a career destroyed overnight, serving as a powerful symbol of the accountability demanded during the #MeToo era. Spacey's legacy, once filled with masterful performances and accolades, is now overshadowed by scandal and disgrace, a cautionary tale about the abuse of power and the reckoning that eventually comes for even the most untouchable stars. Katherine Heigl's story is a fascinating case of how quickly Hollywood can turn on a rising star, transforming her from America's sweetheart to one of the most avoided actresses in the industry almost overnight. For years, Heigl was a fan favorite, winning hearts with her breakout role as Dr. Izzy Stevens on the hit medical drama Grey's Anatomy. Her character was beloved for her warmth, vulnerability, and fierce determination, and Heigl's performance earned her critical acclaim, as well as an Emmy Award in 2007. At the same time, she charmed audiences on the big screen with roles in popular romantic comedies like Knocked Up and 27 Dresses, establishing herself as a versatile actress who could succeed in both television and film. At this point in her career, Heigl seemed unstoppable, a golden girl poised to become one of Hollywood's leading ladies for years to come. But everything began to unravel when Heigl made a series of public comments that alienated both fans and colleagues alike. The first major blow came in 2008 when she withdrew her name from Emmy consideration, issuing a statement that she had not been given the material worthy of a nomination. Many interpreted this as a public insult to the Grey's Anatomy writers and creators who had helped launch her to stardom. Behind the scenes, rumors circulated that Heigl was difficult to work with, demanding and ungrateful, further damaging her reputation. But she didn't stop there. In interviews promoting Knocked Up, Heigl called the film a little sexist, criticizing the way her character was portrayed and implying that women in the film were shown as shrews while the men were portrayed as fun-loving. While some agreed with her critique, many felt it was unprofessional to publicly disparage a film that had boosted her movie career and helped make her a bankable star. Her comments upset director Judd Apatow and co-star Seth Rogen, who later expressed their disappointment and hurt feelings over her remarks. These actions painted a picture of an actress biting the hand that fed her, and Hollywood quickly took notice. The combination of perceived ingratitude, difficult behavior, and public criticism of her own projects created a narrative that Heigl was toxic and unreliable. As a result, her offers for leading roles began to dry up, and she became known more for her off-screen persona than her on-screen talents. Film projects that did get made, such as The Ugly Truth and One for the Money, failed to impress critics and struggled at the box office, further diminishing her star power. Attempts to pivot back to television, including short-lived shows like State of Affairs and Doubt, failed to recapture the success she once enjoyed on Grey's Anatomy. The industry that had once embraced her seemed to turn its back almost overnight. In later interviews, Heigl acknowledged that her outspoken nature and desire to control her image had backfired, leading to a reputation she found difficult to shake. She has since tried to repair her public image, emphasizing her growth and maturity and expressing regret for her past actions. Some fans have rallied behind her, applauding her honesty and hoping for a comeback. However, the damage done to her career was swift and severe, a stark example of how quickly Hollywood can exile even its brightest stars when they are seen as ungrateful or problematic. Katherine Heigl's story serves as a cautionary tale for aspiring actors. In an industry built on relationships and perception, one misstep, or in her case, a few very public missteps, can lead to a rapid and nearly irreversible fall from grace. While she continues to work and occasionally appears in smaller projects, the meteoric rise she once enjoyed and the future she seemed destined for were destroyed almost overnight, leaving behind a legacy of what could have been, if not for a few fateful words and actions. Armie Hammer's career implosion stands as one of the most shocking and sudden in recent Hollywood memory, transforming him from a promising leading man into a complete industry pariah almost overnight. Hammer began his rise to fame with his charismatic portrayal of the Winklevoss twins in The Social Network, a role that showcased not only his acting talent but also his screen presence and ability to handle complex characters. Following this breakout performance, he landed a string of high-profile roles, including starring alongside Johnny Depp in The Lone Ranger, opposite Henry Cavill in The Man from UNCLE, and in the critically acclaimed film Call Me By Your Name, which earned him widespread acclaim and even awards season buzz. Hammer seemed poised to become one of Hollywood's next big A-list stars, admired for his versatility, looks, and seemingly affable public persona. However, in early 2021, Hammer's image shattered after a series of shocking allegations surfaced online. Multiple women came forward with disturbing stories detailing alleged emotional abuse, manipulation, and violent sexual fantasies that Hammer had shared with them. Screenshots of graphic messages that included references to cannibalistic fantasies, controlling behavior, and non-consensual acts quickly went viral, captivating social media and mainstream news alike. While Hammer initially dismissed these allegations as baseless and insisted that all interactions were consensual, the public reaction was swift and unforgiving. In an industry already reeling from the #MeToo movement and increasingly unwilling to tolerate abuse and exploitation, Hammer's alleged behavior proved to be career-ending. Almost immediately, he was dropped by his talent agency WME and publicist, and he was removed from nearly every film and television project he had lined up, including the highly anticipated romantic comedy Shotgun Wedding with Jennifer Lopez, and a leading role in the Paramount series The Offer. Even completed projects like Death on the Nile faced enormous backlash and challenges in marketing due to his involvement, with audiences expressing outrage over his continued presence. As more details emerged and additional women shared their experiences, public sentiment turned even more hostile. Hammer's once charming persona was replaced by an image of a manipulative and dangerous figure, and industry insiders rushed to distance themselves from him to protect their own reputations. In the aftermath, Hammer retreated from public life and reportedly checked into a rehabilitation facility to address issues related to substance abuse and trauma. While some fans speculated about a possible future redemption arc, the sheer severity and shocking nature of the allegations made any sort of comeback seem nearly impossible. His story became a cautionary tale of how quickly a carefully curated Hollywood image can be destroyed when dark truths come to light. Unlike a scandal involving a single bad decision or an unfortunate outburst, Hammer's downfall was tied to deep, disturbing patterns of behavior that the public found unforgivable. His overnight destruction served as yet another example of the shifting power dynamics in Hollywood, where even well-connected, seemingly untouchable stars could no longer hide behind fame and charm to escape accountability. The industry's swift response demonstrated a new era of zero tolerance for abuse, emphasizing that no one, regardless of their status, is above consequence. Today, Hammer's career remains in ruins, his reputation permanently stained, and his future in Hollywood uncertain at best. His once promising trajectory toward superstardom was snatched away in an instant, leaving behind a legacy defined not by talent or potential, but by scandal and disgrace. Armie Hammer's rise and fall underscore the fragility of celebrity and the importance of accountability in an industry built on illusions. It is a stark reminder that in the modern era, public figures live under constant scrutiny, and their private actions can, and often will, come to light, ending even the most glittering careers overnight. Endure your soul.